Welcome to a video from theDisLifestyle.com. This is a look at my new sound collection for the new Korg ARP 2600 included in the Korg Collection. So this is a virtual instrument modelled on the 2600. I've got a full demo actually about the 2600, this model version as well, so you want to check that out. And if you want to hear from the designers behind the 2600, the Korg 2600, then check out on an episode of the Digital Lifestyle Show with Korg's Dan Phillips, head of R&D in the US, who designed this product. Okay, so what we've got with this library is we've got 40 performances for the 2600, and I'm going to demonstrate some of those and show you sort of how I created those patches as we're going on. So I'm controlling this from a mod wave. I've also got a key stage as well to control some of these. So we've got poly aftertouch. So the first one there we've got is a nice 3-octave brass sound. I've got quite a bit of reverb on that. I'll dial that down a bit. So then we've got the first sound I've got on here. This is 3-octave brass sound, and I used 3 sawtooths to create that one. Of course, 2600 is a semi-modular synth, which means it's normalized. So, for example, the VCO1 output is normalized as a square wave. So normally this VCO is a square wave, but you can override it with a patch cable, and I've patched the sawtooth output into there, so overriding that square wave one. So I've got a nice sawtooth from the 3 sawtooth oscillators on there. Like I said, I've got a full demo of really going into more depth on how this works, so check that video out. So you can actually have polyphony because this is a digital instrument, and this is a poly brass sound. Nice big brass sound on there. Then we've got an interesting one here. This is more of a demo one. So what I've done this, I've took the output of the keyboard, put it to the voltage processor, inverted it on one of the oscillators. Let's start again. So what I've done on this one is I took the inverse out of the control keyboard to just on oscillator 1. So as I go up the keyboard, the tone goes down and the other oscillators go up. So it's more of a thing to show you what you can do with this kind of thing, but it's quite interesting sound. Here we've got a basic lead sound. No patch cables needed on this one, but you can see we've got the three oscillators all normalized. So we've got a square wave, a sawtooth, and square wave, a pulse, and a sawtooth, and that's feeding to make a nice mono sound. I've got some tape reverb and some spring reverb on there. So a nice sort of brass pad sound on there, using a sawtooth and also the pulse and the sawtooth from oscillator 3. You may recognise this one if you've heard the Vanglelis soundtrack for Blade Runner. This was an idea just to control using the sequencer here. So I'm using this motion sequencer to control sequence output, to control the pitch of the oscillators. Here's another one using the motion sequencer, but this time it's a bit more effect on it. To give you that sort of strange, I can't think, kind of machine working in the background. So this is Genesis cinema show type sound. I think it was done on an Odyssey originally, ARP Odyssey, but I've recreated that. So it gives you a nice sort of synth lead sound. So you might recognise the Don't Go Brass sound, which I think was done on a 2600, so that's why I recreated that, using the trick to get the 3 oscillators and sawtooth to get that little nice sample. Nice snappy envelope. So this is using the duophonic. So 2600 original had a duophonic keyboard where you could send a control voltage for the higher note of the if 2 notes were pressed down. So what I've done is I've took that control voltage and sent that to oscillator 2. So oscillator 1 still has and oscillator 3 is still getting the normal pitch, but oscillator 2 gets the higher note. So if I hold down a C, all 3 oscillators are playing is C, but if I play a G as well, oscillator 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 3 are playing the C, and oscillator 2 is playing that G, so that gives me that duophonic. Which I think sounds really nice. Another Genesis one, you might be able to tell I'm a Genesis fan. Nice synth lead sound. So this one sounds like it's using a sequencer, so it's actually the sample hold to process that. Another Genesis one there. I'm not going to play it, but that's the in the cage type sound. Now we've got a bass. Really nice bass sound on there. And a sawtooth lead. So no modulation needed to do that. There is a slight delay to bring that vibrato in. So you don't have to touch or anything to control that. And it's a similar idea but with a pad sound. And this one is a mod wheel example. So that one, it was just an example of a multiplier. So I'm multiplying that mod wheel values out. Now this one is quite an interesting one. It's using the same technique as I mentioned earlier about the duophonic, but I've used the voltage processor to add some lag in there so that the second oscillator is always a little bit behind. So while all 3 are playing the same note, so play a C note, there's a lag on one of the oscillators, it's oscillator 2, so that when I go down to a lower voltage, say a lower C, oscillator 1 and 3 will go straight to that. Oscillator 2 will take a bit of time to get there, a bit of a portamento on it because of this lag, which gives you that sort of distortion sound. This is what I call ping sequence, and again using the motion sequencer here just to produce that pattern, and I really like that sort of pattern with it, sort of that high pitch ping calling out. So I really like this pattern, and I like that sort of the higher notes from that This one is taking advantage of the second filter as well. Pulse width bass sound and a pulse width modulation tape lead. Bit Pink Floydy. So, as used by Genesis, Tony Banks, Quadra. This was on a Quadra, on ABACAB. And I've recreated it here. A bit of rig modulation using the rig mod up here. Another sample hole idea, but this time messing with the filter. And then a couple more of these tape leads. I've got a sawtooth one. And a sequence bass there. So this is a sequence bass. So using the keyboard modifies that sequence. So if you hold down the G, it plays it in G, or it plays C, it plays it in C. Similar idea, but this time with a bit of drive. So we're using the drive circuit. So similar to the one I showed you earlier, the OD slow one, the OD one had the overdrive, which gave it a sort of metallic sound as it was doing this, the lag processing. And this without that. Nice traditional 3-oscillator mono synth style with a bit of spring reverb. Square wave bass. Synth workshop. Again using the motion sequencer. And this one is a bass sound with the mod wheel controls the release. So let's use the mod wheel to do that. So this is one that supports poly aftertouch. You can see I'm running the aftertouch through to control the filter. You can hear me. So nice brass sounds, synth brass sound with that poly aftertouch control. And a recreation of the Vox Humana, which was recorded on a Polymoog, which is a preset from the Polymoog. That's used by Gary Newman. And we've got a whistle tape lead. And then we've got a whistle tape lead. And a bit delayed vibrato on there. And a bit of a random sequence one. So that is my collection of 40 patches here for the 2600 from the Korg Collection. Once you've got your synth set up, just go to the librarian, go to import, find the file that you downloaded from digitallifestyle.com, and you're away. You've got the 2600, my 2600 patches. If you've got any suggestions for patches or anything else, let me know. I've also got patches for the Mod Wave, I've got patches for Wave State, I've got DX7 patches, and loads of others on the digitallifestyle.com. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.